Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, their habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, Cesar Espino. Hello there, and how are you today? So we are live on Facebook Live, and today I have Suzanne. So we're going to be having a very interesting conversation about immunity and a bunch of other things that are happening that I think we can definitely take note of today, and it can help us in not only today but really in any during our time. So first and foremost, how are you today?
Hi, how are you?
I am doing good, thank you.
So good to see your face.
Yes, thank you. So before we get started, if you're watching this live, do me a favor and do a hashtag live. If you happen to catch us on a replay, do a hashtag replay. And definitely this is something that people need to listen to. So make sure that you share this video. So if you are jumping on this right now, just share this video over to your network, because we're going to be talking about definitely different things that you definitely want to listen to. So make sure you do that. Also, because we are live, if you have any questions or any comments, please make sure you drop them. If you have any questions, I will be checking those questions and we're going to be answering those questions live. Okay. So, Suzanne, before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so that people can get to know you?
Sure. Thank you for having me, Cesar.
Yes.
So good to be here. Yeah, so I have a company called Carrot International, and I help people, especially people in the chronic disease community, really better manage their health based on natural health solutions and integrating really protocols that work and that have been tested. So my background is in communications. I've done everything from content and copywriting to corporate communications. And I was always connecting people to messages and being a bridge. I started off doing that at advertising firms. I went to working for nonprofits. I always wanted to give back. Mm-hmm. That wasn't enough. I wanted to work internationally and work with other cultures. So I really challenged myself to expand my reach. I ended up working in Pakistan and lived in India, working in international development. And then when I realized I could bridge really important cultures that were having issues, I started to focus on conflict resolution and addressing global conflict. I came back to the US, got my master's in conflict analysis and resolution and a certificate in world religion and diplomacy. And from there, I worked on global conflict issues for a while and was hired eventually by the United States Department of Justice, where I served as a mediator addressing any type of discrimination tension between the most diverse communities in the US. So I have such a passion for culture and for how rich cultures are and how they contribute to our lives. And as I was building this career and sometimes working in a very high stress environment, what people didn't realize is I was also managing a potentially fatal blood disease. It's something I had since birth, but it's something I've had to learn everything I can about health and about natural health in order to thrive and just live the life I wanted to live.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, I got to the point where I thought, if I'm able to do this, and I started helping others and they really were thriving with the solutions I was able to offer them and really just help them better manage their health, I wanted to give back even more. And so that's my focus right now.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's amazing, and definitely, you are in a place where you really understand, when it comes down to even some of the things that we're going through right now, which we're going to tap into. That you understand that because of your past experience and your
Yeah.
own journey, right? And so I think that's very critical, when we talk about anything in life, right? When we're talking about some of the things that we want to either advise, help people with, or even when we create a business for ourselves, once you have the foundation, you have the experience, or even you can share your own journey, that becomes more powerful 10 times over that, right? So
absolutely, like I'm a living example of what works. Western medicine, they couldn't offer me, there's no cure for my disease, as well as many other people who have chronic health conditions. And the best they could do was kind of manage the symptoms. And because this blood disease affects my immune system, among other systems in my body, to put it into Corona context, I've been protecting myself against viruses and bacteria my entire life.
right.
So when this happened, I thought this I can help people with. This is how I've been living my entire life.
Yeah, definitely. Right. And like you mentioned, the immunity and the fact that you've been fighting the viruses throughout your whole life. If we looked at what we're going through right now, this second with the coronavirus, definitely you have things that can help people, stay more protected and really take care of themselves. Right. So talking about the coronavirus, what are your thoughts in terms of what we know, what we don't know yet, what might be coming? What is your thought on that?
Sure. I think this is such a new experience for everyone because there's so much we don't know. And I often think there's a rush to judge even our health experts who, quite frankly, many of them are experiencing something like this for the first time. And so I think it's important for us to really have a measured response, to be a little bit patient, and to read for themselves. Be careful with what you hear on the news. You really have to check sources. So for me, because this is my business and I'm in the business of protecting and improving lives, I'm reading medical research right now more than I'm reading media. And so that's why I feel a little bit more confident about my knowledge base. I'm reading things as they're coming out. What we know about the coronavirus is that we know it is highly contagious. We know that it's an RNA virus. There are DNA viruses and RNA viruses. DNA viruses, they really are quite stable. They don't mutate a lot. The coronavirus is an RNA virus, and they mutate all the time. And what that means is that, kind of like the flu, there are a zillion strains of the flu. You could get a flu vaccine and still get the flu because there's so many strains of the flu that the one you get may have not been in the vaccine. Or it could have mutated by then and it would be something new. It is similar, actually, for the coronavirus, in that even if they come out with a vaccine, they'll only have a vaccine for certain strains of the virus. And if it mutates, we may not be protected from that. And so that's one thing that in the back of the mind, I want people to understand we also need to do our part in boosting our immune system. Because if the vaccine isn't foolproof, there are things we can do.
Yeah. And I like what you mentioned. I think, especially when we're looking at the coronavirus now, there's so much information that you see, whether it's on the news, whether it's on social media, whether it's just going to Google and getting information. And although there's a lot of content, that's kind of risky too, right? Because the fact that there's so much content, we have to be cautious and conscious about what we are, reading, what we are listening to, and also realizing that everything that we read or are hearing is not going to be at 100% correct, right? We have to be able to be careful. And if there's something that we feel like, yeah, this makes sense, or whatever the case may be, I probably, and I think you agree with me, empower people to do a little bit more research for themselves to say, yeah, that makes sense, right? Because again, we are hearing so many things, and if we just go based on what we hear, I think we definitely could be in a more difficult place currently with what we're going on right now.
Absolutely, Cesar. I mean, you're a specialist of overcoming. You and your podcast, you highlight people who have overcome things. And we know, you and I know, that the key in doing so is ownership and to really take responsibility for our life and our health included. And so that's really one of the key pillars. The other thing we don't really know about the coronavirus is reinfection rates or antibodies. Most people can build up antibodies to a flu, and if they get it again, it won't be as strong, or a cold. We're not quite sure about the coronavirus. There are antibodies. Somebody like me with a weakened immune system, though, I don't build antibodies like everyone else does. Chickenpox, people usually have it once and they're done. I've had chickenpox 5 times. So I can spot them from 10 miles away now. But so, there's things that we have to be aware of. And the other thing that's really important for us to understand, and this will help people with some of the panic going on, is while the coronavirus is highly contagious, it's actually kind of fragile. It's easy to kill with soap and water. If you wash your hands, and it can be Dove soap, Dial soap, it doesn't have to be some like crazy strong antibacteria, AK-47 soap. You really can kill it with soap and water, washing your hands thoroughly for 60 seconds, it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's not that strong of a virus. Hydrogen peroxide, if you wipe off surfaces, rubbing alcohol, of course, Clorox, all of that kills it really easily.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, again, it goes back to, what we listen to, what we hear, and because we hear these different things and we don't get educated, we start panicking. Like I remember when we first started with this, just over 2 months ago, everybody was going ballistic and crazy on getting toilet paper and getting all this other, just like literally the people were going crazy. I saw people literally fighting for a toilet paper. And part of that was derived from, in my opinion, the media, the news, that they just made one report. Oh, this store ran out of toilet paper, and all of a sudden they created panic. And then people created, they rushed to all the stores and started buying that. Now that's not even the case anymore. Like now we finally are seeing things coming back again. You have the foods, you have all these different things. Except it goes back to the fact that it seems like it can be very easily killed with just simple things here and there. It goes back to educating and understanding. And that leads me to my next question, because part of that is the mindset, is how critical it is it for us to understand, one, what we're facing, number two, working on our mind and understanding and seeing things from a different perspective, a different point of view, right? And I think the mindset is huge on this. So what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally agree. So I've been living in the state of Georgia, and I could not believe we had a stabbing over toilet paper.
Wow. Yeah.
People, get a grip. A stabbing. And, that just, it really does. Cesar, I agree. The media really stoked panic. And I think I'm a little bit disappointed in that regard. But when you look at human nature, I think we panic when we feel like we are not in control, when we feel trapped, when we feel like we have limited options. And for me and the people I've worked with in coaching, one of the best ways to counter that kind of anxiety is with information, with knowledge. If you are reading, like we said, if you're checking multiple sources, the more you learn, the more you're going to understand that your health is not out of your control. It's totally in your control. And once you realize that and take ownership of your life and situation, it's much, much easier to deal with. What is that mindset that accompanies that? You know, you really have to ask yourself what you believe. Do you believe you're meant to be here? Do you believe you have things to do in life still? Do you really believe a virus is going to come and wipe you out? You know, what do you want out of life, and what do you believe? These are really fundamentals of mindset, and to just check your belief, check your faith, and really dig in. This is not the time to start doubting. You know who you are, you know why you're here, and let's get past whatever the obstacles are that are in your way so you can achieve and become who you need to be.
Yeah, and I want to reinforce that. I love what you mentioned. And at the end of the day, what is it that you believe? What is it that you're going to focus upon? And I keep saying, I've said this before, whatever you focus on will expand. So if you're focusing on, yeah, this virus is out to get me, right? Or this virus is gonna take the best out of me, then you only are focusing on that negative aspect of that, and you are not seeing the possibilities, the good possibilities, or the things that you can do to create yourself stay healthy, or create something that is more sustainable for you, right? So definitely working on that mindset, I think, is so critical. And again, it goes back to not only working on your mindset, it's also understanding what we're facing, right? It doesn't take away the fact that there is a virus. Okay, fine, there's something there. Yet, how can we adjust, or what is it that we need to do to make a different aspect on our day-to-day lives? Like, what do we need to do to create something different so that we don't focus on that, right? I see people that have really gotten to the point where all they focus upon is the virus, and that's really creating not only a stressful situation for themselves. It's really putting them in a different aspect in their lives. Whereas I also see people on the other side where they're like, what virus? Like, they don't even think about it, because they're still doing the things they have to do, which is take care of themselves, eat healthy, be clean, and then focus on building your business, or focus on going to work, or focus on your family, or whatever the case may be, right? So I think it's definitely for sure something critical. And it's not just with this, though. I think it's with anything that we do. We have to look at we need to focus on our mind. We need to focus on that. And I would say, any programs you put into your head are so critical, and therefore we have to make sure that we listen to the right stuff, we read the right stuff, we empower ourselves, we educate ourselves, right? So definitely it makes perfect sense from that aspect.
If we surround ourselves with the news right now, I mean, how are we going to feel?
Yeah.
If you believe in the law of attraction or any of those principles where what you focus on, you manifest. And I think that's really such an important tip. And, if you read or are familiar with Tony Robbins, just taking a step back and saying, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from who I am in this? Even if you're feeling panicked, take a moment and step back and say, okay, what am I really panicked about? What is causing this? And what can I do to address the concerns I have? Just having that foresight to be able to step outside yourself for a second and take a little bit of inventory about where your thoughts are, why your thoughts are there, and practical steps you can take to help counter them.
Yeah, no, definitely. And again, if you're watching this, make sure you drop #live. If you catch us on the replay, #replay. If you have any questions, please make sure you put them on the comment. I'll be checking those questions. So definitely want to hear from you, and definitely, try to get as many questions answered today. So the other thing too, when we talked about, the coronavirus, we talked about the immunity and that aspect. You've have pillars of immunity that you focus on, or you talked about. We've kind of touched a little bit on that, which is the mindset. Then you have the sleep, stress, management, nutrition, and exercise. Can you take us through each one of those pillars and give us a better understanding of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we've kind of addressed mindset already.
Yep.
And that is so important because you do manifest what you believe and think. So I definitely underscore that in everyone I work with. And that's now and always in every situation.
Yeah.
You know, who you are and how you want to show up is entirely up to you. One thing we often overlook, sleep. Many of our schedules have slowed down a little bit. Some of us, you know, more than others, but
Yeah.
sleep is so important. People think that that is just, you know, a waste of time, especially in the entrepreneurial community. There's really almost like a hustle culture that happens, but your sleep, a million things happen when you sleep. This is your body's time to regenerate. There are important processes that happen, not only that affect your mindset, but that affect your immune system and your body's ability to repair itself. So sleep is really critical.
Let me ask you something. What about the people that, because I know sometimes people tend to oversleep, so that can also be, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, because sometimes either oversleep or you sleep and then you feel like you're tired, like you know, you feel like you didn't rest, right? Yes. And I think that that'll be maybe part of the next pillar, which is the stress management. I think that comes into play with that. Yet, what are your thoughts of people oversleeping or feel like I didn't get any rest?
So for me, that, you know, it requires a little bit of critical thinking and insight to ask yourself, why are you sleeping so much? Some people do it as an escape, as a stress response, but other people, you know, they might have things going on in their body that perhaps are out of balance. And so it's really important to know why you're oversleeping. As far as, you know, mindset, it could be a component of depression. It can be an unhealthy habit, escapism. And that's when you really have to just be honest with yourself and talk about that. Your body can be trained to self-regulate itself with different levels of sleep, but the depth of it and the quality of it is pretty non-negotiable. Gotcha. So definitely oversleeping, you know, that to me just tells me somebody's avoiding something, or they have some underlying health issues that they need to come to grips with.
Yeah. So yeah, Stacy is asking, and you know, we kind of touched on that. Yet maybe there's more to it. She said, "What about oversleeping when you have an autoimmune disease? What is the right thing to do?"
Yeah. So with autoimmune, your immune system's working overtime, and it's hypervigilant. And so with autoimmune diseases, there are ways to boost your immunity that do not make it hyperactive. There's some ways to kind of self-regulate it through adaptogens and some other types of supplements, and nutrition is like of paramount importance to autoimmune issues. It provides kind of the fundamental nutrition you need that will not move your body into that hyperactive state. And right now your body's kind of compensating, and that's why you're oversleeping. So I would be happy to have a conversation offline about that in detail.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so definitely we can do that. And then the other pillar, so the stress management, right?
Yeah, stress management is so important. I would couple stress management with emotional management, because stress can be physical or it can be emotional. And it's super important for people to realize that the stress of anxiety, of emotional instability, is just as detrimental to your immune system as is constant physical stress. And so both will need to be regulated. It's very important. And so both actually depress your immune system. And it's super important. There are, anything from meditation to having a healthy exercise, routine, to supplements, to actually diet that help address all of that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So definitely that's something that we have to be conscious of and be very, very careful with, because it can really affect our immunity in our system.
I mean, I don't think people realize even excessive worrying about coronavirus, even
right.
being, hyper aware of it, it actually eats at your immune system. So.
Yeah. And then you have nutrition. That's one of the other pillars of immunity, right?
Yes. And people really think of nutrition as only something that prevents maybe some of the degenerative diseases, but nutrition can actually heal. And very few people understand the power of nutrition. I am fortunate that I've been able to read enough, experiment enough to know what types of nutrition actually boost your immune system. When they tell you to eat your colorful vegetables and your greens and healthy proteins, that stuff is not just, it's not just good practice, it's actually healing. And when I work with people who have specific health issues, we go a lot deeper into nutrition that heals, the power of maybe broccoli or kale to boost your immune system, why turmeric and ginger are so important for immunity, and really different foods that frequently come from other cultures and frequently are in our spice cabinet that actually have power to heal. Things like the spice thyme or cumin actually are bronchodilators that open up your bronchioles, open up your airways, and help you breathe better. They can be antioxidants. And so the whole field of nutrition, you'll find nutritionists, they can tell you how to get to a really your daily recommended allowance and your daily ideal level. But above that, there's foods that actually heal. And so I highly recommend people who are looking to boost their immune system to look into nutrition that takes you to a new level, including antiviral foods. The spice ginger is antiviral.
Yeah, and I definitely want to touch on that a little bit more in a second, to maybe go more deep into what are some of the things that we can definitely look at when it comes down to that nutrition and even just kind of prepping and things like that. So we'll get that in a second. We'll get there in a second. Exercising, though, that's another one that I think people tend to forget. And I know for me, even right now with this coronavirus, like I'm tired of, one, I have my own reservation opinion about the things that are going on. Definitely, we have to be careful. We have to take care of ourselves. Except for me, I believe that being healthy, exercising, doing some of that is critical to this. So like I'm pretty much every day I'm doing at least 45 minutes to an hour of walking and running, because I need to stay active, right? And so exercising, though, how critical is that to the immunity system?
Yeah, so exercise is super powerful in two ways. It can either boost our immune system or it can actually destroy it. And it's super important to understand it can go both ways. So moderate exercise, it can be strenuous, but I work out frequently. I would call it when you go into beast mode, right? When you're really overdoing it and you're like, okay, I'm really pushing it. That actually has the effect of generally depressing your immune system for a period of 24 to 72 hours afterwards. Your immune system can actually be depressed after super strenuous workouts. Moderate workouts, mild workouts have almost a toning effect on your immune system. And you can work up to high level workouts, but if you suddenly go very extreme, it has the effect of being detrimental to your immune system. There are things that you can do to kind of regulate that. If you are somebody who goes all out frequently, or you push yourself extensively, if you have heard of branched chain amino acids, they are very helpful with branched chain amino acids plus glutamine, which is an amino acid. They're all amino acids, are extremely helpful for your immune system. And otherwise, though, kind of mild to medium workouts actually boost your immune system significantly. Walking, even fast-paced walking. My yoga, even though I end up dripping with sweat at the end of it, I do Ashtanga yoga, which is not, it's not the Kumbaya type.
Yeah.
But after a session, I can start a session fighting something off and end the session feeling fantastic. So the effects on your immune system can be immediate as well if you're doing the toning and building.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, even when it comes down to working on your, or building up your immunity system, your immune system, you can, even as simple as just walking or doing some sort of active exercise is better than none, right? I mean,
Oh my goodness, yes, people get up, move,
right?
Move it. Like, there is no excuse for not being active right now. There is no coronavirus in the air just waiting to get you. Socially distance yourself a little bit, get your 6 feet apart if you can, and do not wear a mask when you're 6 feet apart from someone. It's very important for people to understand that we inhale oxygen. We do not inhale carbon dioxide. And what happens is we exhale carbon dioxide. And it also is our body's natural way to kind of detox when we exhale. If we have a mask on that blocks some of the oxygen, we end up inhaling our carbon dioxide we exhaled. And we actually need oxygen. So if you have your mask on and you're exercising, you're inhaling too much of your carbon dioxide and possibly toxins that your body's trying to expel. And the overall strain that you're causing your body to get more oxygen actually depresses your immune system a little bit. So all of the health experts who know what they're talking about are telling you to remove the mask if you're socially distant and exercising. If you're in your car alone, people, no.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people like that.
I have, and I
Riding
don't get
a
it.
bicycle with nobody around them.
Right.
You don't need that, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've seen many of that, and I do see that. I'm like, again, going back to you're inhaling that carbon dioxide, so definitely not a good thing. Again, if you're just tuning in, please make sure you hashtag live. If you catch on the replay, hashtag replay. Please make sure, because we're talking about a lot of great information around the immune system, and somebody needs to listen to this message. So please make sure you share this on all of your on your social media, and just get people out here. If you have any questions, please drop them on the comments. We'll definitely answer those questions. So I want to go back to the nutrition of the nutrition for yourself and the things you can do to really strengthen your immune system. So the nutrition of immunity, when it comes down to that, like, what are some things that we right now, this second, with what we're going through with the coronavirus, we can do? Like you said, some of those things might be in our household already, right? Because sometimes I might see, like, I can already see people thinking about, well, I gotta start doing meal prepping, or I gotta start doing all these different things. So we're not talking necessarily about weight management, although that's fine, except when we talked about things that we might have around or we can easily get in the store that can help our immunity. What are some of those tips?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things, it's funny, especially with the meal prep community.
Yeah.
They really make bland food, people. And you do not have to eat boring food to lose weight. If you're in the meal prep, or even just for efficiency, practice, just to save time through your week, people, add some spices. Believe it or not, a lot of your spices are great for you. Oregano, thyme, both of them have something in it called thymol, which is antiviral and it's antibacterial, but it's a great antiviral property and it's good for your lungs. Cumin as well, bronchodilator that helps open up your lungs. I always wondered why I craved spicy food when I was getting colds and flus. Guess what, people? It not only opens your sinuses, it opens your lungs a little bit. So from your spice cabinet, do it up, people. Use what you have. There are ingredients in those major spices that really help you. Basil's another one. It's very good for you. It's got healing properties in it. As far as your cooking oil, coconut oil is phenomenal. People talk about it as a healthy saturated fat, but coconut oil also has monolaurin in it, and monolaurin has antiviral properties. So coconut oil, to me, I think it makes everything taste amazing, but it's really great for you. So I definitely recommend people trying coconut oil. As far as the basics, you want your healthy protein. I think fat is okay if it's natural fat, whether it's, if you're a vegetarian, that's fine, that's up to you, but you need your fats from healthy sources and not anything artificial. For me, I always recommend people eat as natural as possible and avoid any artificial sugars, artificial flavorings, colorings. There is no artificial color, flavoring, anything that will ever help you. I promise. And then from there, of course, the common sense things. Eat your colorful vegetables. Eat your greens, reds, oranges, leafy greens. The darker the leaf, the more the antioxidants. Berries as well. Phenomenal. Your high sugar fruits such as melons and grapes. Sorry, guys, they're not doing anything for you. They might be, a good source of H2O, of water, full of water, but that's really not helping you right now.
Right.
Yeah, so those are some basics. Healthy protein, lots of veggies. I definitely, depends on whether you're on a high carb, low carb diet, but high carbs, pasta, rice, they don't do a thing for your body, for your health, for your immunity. I personally refer to them as spackle. They kind of fill holes in your stomach so you're not hungry, and they don't serve much of a purpose.
Got it. Yeah, so that's actually, critical. I think, I started, well, I would say I attempted, and I'm still doing that. I try to eat as good as I can, or as, or as healthy as I can. And it can be very difficult, right? With so much stuff going on, which is funny because I saw something and I think it's kind of interesting and kind of relatable to what we're talking about. Gyms are closed. You're not able to go into gyms where you can actually exercise and help your immune system and all that stuff. Yet McDonald's or those fast food restaurants are essential businesses and they're open, right? So when you think about it, I think we have things twisted, and it goes back to, again, like how, right? Like we have to be more educated too when it comes down to that. And although it might be nice to go pick up a hamburger or fries, we should. I think the gyms or those establishments such as those are more of essential businesses, and we should be doing whatever we got to be doing to help our immunity. So.
Yes, that is so true, Cesar. And I will say, what I'm giving you I call it like kind of the 95% rule, or even the 90% rule. If you eat healthy 90% of the time, you take your 10% and you do what you want to do with that. It's not going to touch you. It's okay. Alcohol also, though, people, it depresses your immune system. You might be able to kind of justify some red wine because of the antioxidants in it. Yes. But in general, alcohol is an immune depressant. So if you are partying hard and then going out in public and not wearing a mask or taking precautions, you really need to think about that a little bit. And maybe your immune system is great, but maybe somebody at home has, maybe they're one in, of the 3 in 5 Americans have one or more chronic health condition. 3 in 5, that's more than half. And those 3 in 5 people are more susceptible to, they have a lower immune system generally than others. So if half the nation has one or more chronic disease, even if you are healthy and strong, if you become a carrier, you could really affect somebody's life in not the way you're hoping to.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
we really need to be a little bit conscientious.
Yeah, no, definitely that makes sense. And then in terms of supplements that fight the viruses in our body immunity,
Yeah.
and obviously your own story, your own journey has shown you many different things that you can do to really get you to where you
Yeah.
can really be fighting that. And again, you've been living your life fighting viruses left and right, and so you're
I've been boosting my immune system for more than 40 years. And honestly though, when I talk about supplements that work, I'm referring to things that I personally know have impacted my life, and I've researched them, and research, really indicates the same. And so I've never found something that works for me that research hasn't supported. And so I do not, I take my word quite seriously. I'm in the business of saving my own life first, and as many lives as I can with me. And so I definitely, and thankfully, I've been able to find some wonderful solutions there. And the good news is many of them are cheap, and many of them are easily found. You can buy in the stores. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them anywhere you want. But first of all, it's important to address any deficits. Before we go to optimum and fighting things, we have to address any deficits. And so specifically with the coronavirus, they're finding 2 areas that are important. One is people who are deficient in potassium. They're finding people who have potassium deficiencies are having the heart attacks associated with the coronavirus. And so if you're somebody who runs a little shy on your potassium, it would behoove you to do, potassium's very cheap, easy to get. It's found in several foods. It's not something that's difficult to bring your body up to speed on, but potassium for your heart health in this corona time is really, really important.
Yeah.
Vitamin D is another one that there are a lot of people who are deficient in vitamin D. The research on vitamin D is current, maybe within the past 10 years, but they're finding that D3, not D2, D3, the name of it is cholecalciferol, is the most effective form. It absorbs into our body easily, and many of us are deficient in it. It affects your immune system. It affects, believe it or not, your mood. If you take some vitamin D3, it actually lifts your mood a little bit. It's great for bone health. It is so good for you. It's definitely one of the supplements that I frequently tell people to check their levels. You don't need a ton of it. If you do not take a multivitamin or get it from other sources, you're safe taking between 1,000 to 3,000 IU, which means international units, a day. For me, I'm immune deficient. I probably range a little closer to 2,000. The good news is if you go in the sun for 30 minutes and you have short sleeves on or shorts on, or your face is exposed, no sunscreen, people. Within 30 minutes, you can get your daily dose of vitamin D. You get
Nice.
it from the sunshine. And what I recommend is when you come in, don't wash, don't take a shower right away. Even if you're working outside and you go for a jog or a walk, you know, leave it on your skin for about 30 minutes after you come in so it absorbs into your body, and boom, you've got free vitamin D.
Nice. I love that. We have a question from Virginia Garcia. She wants to know, going back to eating, what about people with diabetes? What is best to eat during this time, and what kind of exercise?
Yeah. So for diabetics, you really want to focus on having high protein, high fat, and this is healthy fats. I'm not saying McDonald's, right? But we are talking healthy fat. You can eat even the fat on your meat, the fat on your chicken. It's fine. High fat, high protein, and high fiber. So all of your vegetables are going to be really important. And for that, you know, what did I leave out? Carbohydrates. So your rice, your potatoes, your starches, even bananas that are high in sugar, you want to kill the high sugars, kill all the processed foods, and stick with those healthy fats, healthy proteins, lots of vegetables. And if you eat fruit, you need the high fiber fruit like blackberries, like apples and pears, not the high sugar ones like melons and grapes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then, so you doing this, I'm just curious to see, like, what is your daily, I guess, nutrition life when it comes down to, you know, fighting any kind of virus?
Yeah.
Because I think people can definitely learn from that too, like even you doing that on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Real quick, let me hit on the rest of the supplements.
Oh, yeah, please.
We're just deficiencies, and I want people to get fighting power with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So real simple and very quick. Vitamin C. Simple, cheap vitamin C. You know, taking 1,000 milligrams or more a day actually boosts your immune system. It's super, super easy to get access to, and it's so helpful. So your simple vitamin C. I'm not recommending you get it from orange juice because orange juice is high sugar. So, but vitamin C is super, super great. And they're actually using it in IVs to treat corona people. They're really testing this stuff. So it has real fighting power. Something else beyond your vitamin D is zinc. Zinc is very cheap. For women, sorry, but sometimes zinc increases your appetite. So it can make you a little hungry. But zinc is phenomenal. We don't need much zinc. 11 milligrams maybe per day. 11, it's super low. You can take maybe up to 18 is fine. But zinc is super, super useful for corona specifically, in addition to other viruses. And zinc, I think, is the one that they tested it with some of the other coronaviruses as well. So it actually has a history of working. In addition to that, there is one super powerful herb called astragalus. Astragalus is from Chinese traditional medicine. And it actually has been tested and is currently being used in China for corona infections. And I won't say that it will heal. You know, there's not enough research for people to say this is your magic bullet. But for prevention, it boosts your immune system significantly to help prevent coming down with it. And then astragalus is something, though, that you take for maybe a month or so to build up in your system. If you get the coronavirus, you can stop taking it. You should stop taking it. But it's great for prevention. And with all of these, except for astragalus, at the very worst, if you come down with the coronavirus, We want it to be like a flu that just comes and goes and doesn't wreak havoc on your body. And so really all of these will boost your immune system to a point where even if you are exposed to it, it's not going to do its worst damage to you. The other thing is turmeric, the orange spice that comes in curry, that makes curry that color. Mm-hmm. Turmeric is a phenomenal antioxidant and anti-inflammatory that really helps with that.
Awesome. That's awesome. So if people, so one of the things that you do is you actually help people with a lot of this stuff. Can we talk about the things that you do or how you help people? Because perhaps some of the people that are listening to us right now might want to connect with you after this and see maybe how they can either work with you or something to that extent. So can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. So I do have a coaching program for people that have health concerns, that really want to learn more about how to manage their own health. While it doesn't go into specifics about, each and every condition they may have, it helps people manage their health and understand what the major skills are. And believe it or not, it's a skill. It's the health management skills are that help you manage your health and make better decisions, that help you research and get more accurate information. And so for that, I offer 3 different types of coaching. There's a one-on-one coaching, and there's a small group coaching and a large group coaching as well. And beyond that, I'm in the process of building an online community for people with chronic health conditions, because really that is one of the most underserved communities, that they have something like diabetes, they have something like cancer, they have something that maybe it's common, but if not managed effectively, these things can pile on, they can stack up, and frequently people with one chronic health condition end up with 2, 3, or 4. And that's about management and prevention.
Yeah, got it. No, definitely. Again, if you're watching this live, please drop a hashtag live. If you're getting this on the replay, hashtag replay. If you have any questions, if you're watching this right now, you have any questions, please drop them in the comment before we wrapped up. I want to make sure that I can get those questions answered today. And Suzanne, anything else that maybe you can share with us in terms of how, again, we can continue to work on our lives to make sure that we can take care of our immunity system, specifically going through the things that we're going through right now?
I think the most important thing for people to remember is you are in control. You are perfectly capable of protecting yourself to the best of your ability. And when you know you're doing the best you can, you're not going to have the anxiety that the media seems to insinuate everyone should have. You're going to feel great about it. And you're going to feel like you're not only protecting yourself, you're protecting those you love. Because right now, this isn't just about us. It's about everyone in our family and in our social networks, about everyone we come in contact. This is an opportunity for us to really build our own capacity to protect ourselves and protect each other.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. And I would just reinforce that again, regardless of what it is, it's so critical for us to work on our mind and really focus on getting the right type of programs, whether it's through media, whether it's to reading, whether it's to listen to music, or even just hanging around with a group of people. You want to make sure that you get in the right type of programs, because your mind is a sponge. It's going to take everything you tell it. And so it's very, very important that you actually focus on the right stuff. So, Suzanne, I don't have anything else for you. Thank you so much for being here, for giving us a lot of great tips. Definitely, I think this is something that anybody can relate to and really apply to today, especially what we're going through with the coronavirus and any other viruses for that matter. So thank you for being here.
Of course, I'm so grateful you had me.
Yeah, definitely. And for the rest of you guys, I just want to say thank you again. You can actually find me at www.CesarRespino.com. CesarRespino.com. If you have any questions or comments or anything else that you want to maybe talk about, or any other things that I do help with, please send me a message. You will have on the tag I put Suzanne's Facebook page, so you can actually connect with her if you want to connect with her. So thank you so much, and have a good rest of your Wednesday. Bye.
Hi, I'm Cesar Espino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything, Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you tuned in to this podcast. You can find me at Spreaker.com, where you can like and subscribe. And to learn more about myself and my services, you can find me at www.CesarRespino.com, or you can also find me at Facebook under Cesar R. Espino. Once again, thanks for joining me. I am looking forward to having you at the next episode, and know that you truly can overcome anything.